Creative recognitions flourish versus languish. Which side are you on? In a gorgeous green meadow dotted with wildflowers, the frontline staff of Creative Recognitions is hard at work. Their mission: to train corporate leaders in the latest and most effective styles of leadership. Upon entering the offices of Creative Recognitions, one sees the smiling face of Isabella. She's flourishing in her job. Coming to work is a joy. She feels supported and appreciated. Work is a place she can grow and change in a positive way. To be continuously bathed in positive feedback, all Isabella needs to do is make her best effort to keep up with her work, follow the rules, and adhere to policy. No wonder she wants to shine. As she continues through her day and works on her project, she turns more and more golden. The silk strands of her chrysalis are beginning to form. She's well on her way to metamorphosis. This is Justice. When he makes the effort to do well, he goes through his day hearing comments such as, "Thanks," or "Good job," but he never quite knows why he's being thanked or how he's doing a good job. At the end of each day, he feels as though he's had nothing but junk food to eat. On the other hand, even for smaller infractions of policy or rules, he is given lots of negative attention. Sometimes the higher-ups even call a big meeting to discuss his rule breaking. Mr. Moody, Mrs. Crabtree, and Mr. Silencio, who supervise Justice and others like him, are members of Team Chrysalis. These leaders have diverse qualities and strengths. Some are new team players and some are seasoned. Their gold stripes are well established and their silk chrysalides are taking shape, but each is stuck in a unique way. Each encounters different kinds of obstacles to imparting their wisdom and greatness to the people in their lives. Mr. Moody is a seasoned member of this team. He's close to retirement and has contributed in magnificent ways to the company's sustainable development. Although he regularly thanks his team members and frontline workers for doing a good job, his moods can sometimes make him very difficult to get along with. He himself has lots of gold stripes, but for some reason he seems stuck. He has not moved far enough into his own transformation to set a truly inspiring example for Justice, Isabella, and their co-workers. Mrs. Crabtree is task-oriented and full of wisdom, but in her role as team leader, she seems to spend much of the day barking orders and punishing her staff. She has a tendency to lecture when someone does something wrong. Even on a good day, she's abrupt and a bit crabby. She's in a constant state of frustration because she sees around her only employees who are making mistakes. She can't seem to escalate disciplinary actions far enough to have an impact. At the same time, she doesn't ever seem to notice when her fellow team members or frontline workers are shining. "That's just what I expect from them," she'd likely say. Mr. Silencio is the quiet type, but his contributions to the team are nothing less than stellar. He has many gold stripes and has finished his chrysalis in preparation for metamorphosis, but he has not yet begun his transformation in earnest. Although frontline workers and fellow team members learn a great deal from his intellect, he says barely a word to them directly. Mr. Kodak, Mrs. Polaroid, and Ms. Cannon are members of the Nurtured Heart Warriors team, and they believe that creating a brilliant workplace is all about celebrating what's going well. They do not agree with top-down leadership styles, choosing instead to value the voice of every single person who works for the company. Their mission is to nurture personal and professional development, to support everyone into their metamorphosis to greatness. Their transformation into butterflies is complete, and they're ready to show others the way. This is Mr. Kodak. He seems to notice everything that's going right. Whomever he speaks to comes away feeling special, even if it's something small, a choice to follow the rules, or just showing up and paying attention. He has something good to say about it. Practically everywhere he goes, Mr. Kodak takes snapshots of successes, both minuscule and massive, and he's unfailingly generous when giving feedback to team members about those successes. This is Mrs. Polaroid. As a more seasoned manager, she can keep up with Mr. Kodak in terms of noticing and acknowledging success. Like a Polaroid camera, she captures successes as they happen, then deepens that image of success by clearly stating how those successes reveal strengths and virtues. Her unique, intense style takes some getting used to, but in the end, this ability to hone in on what's going right and on what's so right about it makes her an invaluable member of the management team. Ms. Cannon is the team's ultimate policy implementer and relentless rule follower, but she's not one to lecture, reprimand, or scold when rules are broken. Instead, she recognizes rule following. She keeps the team in full compliance when offering frequent reminders to those staying on task. You are wonderful for not breaking rules and for following policy. Ms. Cannon appreciates team members for their willingness to change old habits, for staying in healthy control, and for rerouting themselves back to compliance when they break rules or fail to comply with company policies and procedures. She's firm and strict, but also compassionate, loving, and proactive. Senora Corazon is the Chief Executive Officer of Creative Recognitions, and she has been accused of wearing rose-colored glasses. She seems to believe, sometimes beyond reason, that all people can flourish. Her view is that giving recognition for every success, brilliance, and accomplishment is good for everyone, including the one who gives that recognition. She loves to notice what people are doing in the moment and to take time to tell them what she's observing. She communicates to her people that she values them for positive attitude and great work ethic. Good morning, Isabella. I see you're here early. We cannot thank you enough for getting to work on time and for not being late. What a great role model to the rest of the team. Isabella replies, "Thank you for that." Justice arrives shortly after Isabella, at 8:50. He's very conscientious about time. Usually he arrives early enough at work to take care of any personal needs before diving into work promptly at 9. While walking into the building, he passes by his supervisor, Mr. Silencio, who barely acknowledges his existence, giving little more than a brief, unsmiling glance. Justice starts out his day with low energy. Good morning, Isabella. I notice how you're multitasking and getting so much accomplished. Quite impressive. Mr. Moody notices Justice working feverishly at his desk. "Good job, Justice," he says as he walks by. Justice pauses for a moment. While it feels good to be told he's doing a good job, he wonders, what am I doing well exactly? Although he's grateful not to have been the target of one of Mr. Moody's legendary bad mood-induced jabs, he doesn't feel like he's been nourished by what has been said to him. Mr. Moody is not particularly approachable. Sometimes when Justice asks for guidance, assistance, or support, he is met often, without warning, with one of Mr. Moody's marvelous moods. Brushing off his thoughts, Justice goes back to work. There is no luster in his being. His gold stripes are barely visible. Mrs. Polaroid approaches Isabella to discuss the arrangements for the afternoon meeting with the CEO, Senora Corazon. Isabella is more than well prepared. She has achieved her goal of having everything organized and confirmed prior to taking her lunch break. Impressed, Mrs. Polaroid happily tells Isabella, "You are so incredibly organized, Isabella. I notice how hard you are always working. This shows us what a team player you are. You're demonstrating valuable leadership skills. Thank you for all you do for us." Isabella is more lustrous than ever. Her golden stripes grow exponentially. She shines with radiance. How many times do we need to remind you, Justice, that the use of personal cell phones is not permitted on the company's time? I cannot understand why this is so challenging for you. As it is, I can clearly see that you've fallen behind for our deadline for this afternoon's meeting with Senora Corazon. I am sorry, Justice, but we are going to have a discussion about this right now. Let's go into my office to discuss this matter, and we'll also have to call Human Resources. I just cannot believe we have to address this again, Justice, again and again. When will it end? Now I have to spend all this time with you because you insist on using your cell phone to conduct personal business at work. Blah, blah, blah. Justice thinks, maybe I should make believe I'm sick and go home early. But wait, if I go home now, I'll never make that deadline. I've got to get back to work, and it's only Monday. Justice tells Isabella, I got in trouble for texting my girlfriend. Mrs. Crabtree brought me into her office and yelled at me for a good 10 minutes. I almost faked being sick so I could go home. I was in such a bad mood. Isabella replies, but you're deciding to stay and keep working. That's real commitment. That's perseverance. Senora Cartazone waits patiently for her management teams and their team members to join her in the main conference room. As she waits, she thinks, project transformation is crucial to the ongoing development of the company. In today's market, having the ability to be dynamic and to change with the many challenges with which we are faced gives us an edge. It's what keeps our company in business. She sets her intention to observe in her teams whose dynamism and flexibility seem to be coming through strongly and whose seem to be flagging. She wants to discover what makes a difference between employees who are energized and flourishing and those who are disengaged, discontented, and languishing. And so the story goes. To learn how to transform your workplace with the precision tools you require, journey with us. We are waiting for you. Get the Positivity Pulse, Transforming Your Workplace, and the 7 Steps to Ignite Flourishing in Leaders, Teams, and Organizations. It's the companion guide to the Positivity Pulse. We look forward to serving you. Contact us at thepositivitypulse.com, sponsored by the Sherry Blair Institute.